share. Just go back to the places where we used to go, and I'll be there. Oh, how can I forget you? There's always something there to remind me. Always something there to remind me. I was born to love you, and I will never be free. You'll always be a part of me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. If you should find you miss the sweet and tender love we used to share, just go back to the places where we used to go, and I'll be there. Oh, how can I forget you? And there's always something there to remind me. Always something there to remind me. I was born to love you, and I will never be free. When there is always something there to remind me. Always something there to remind me. Always something there to remind me. Raindrops are falling on my head, and just like the guy whose feet are too big for his bed, nothing seems to fit. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. So I just give me some talking to the sun, and I said I didn't like the way he got things done. Sleeping on the job, those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. So I just give me some talking to the sun, and I said I didn't like the way he got things done. Sleeping on the job, those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. But there's one thing I know, the blues they sent to meet me won't defeat me. It won't be long till happiness steps up to greet me. Raindrops keep falling on my head, but that doesn't mean my eyes will soon be turning red. Crying's not for me, 'cause I'm never gonna stop the rain by complaining, because I'm free, nothing's worrying me. It won't be long till happiness steps up to greet me. Raindrops keep falling on my head, but that doesn't mean my eyes will soon be turning red. Crying's not for me, 'cause I'm never gonna stop the rain by complaining, because I'm free, nothing's worrying me.
With the perfect hair and the perfect wife and the perfect kids and the perfect life, I will finally be somebody.
Let's play for together, American resistance is the game.
Two pigs wearing suits brought the news that I'm wanted by the bank. They say the rent is due, Caesar's onto you, so you better remember your place. Then they outsourced my job and gave a raise to
All right, I gotta DJ this a little bit. I want to hear new stuff. We've heard this a lot. Ooh, this is one of my favorites, I think. No, it's not. There's a lot you guys have never heard. It just never comes up. There's almost 100 of these. Going live early today because there's a lot of news, and so it might be a longer than an hour show for once. Heard this one a billion times. It's good though.
In a beautiful world. Is this just fantasy? Caught in the landslide, I escape from reality. Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see. I'm just a poor boy, I need no sympathy, because I'm easy come, easy go, little high, little low. Anyway the wind blows doesn't really matter to me, to me. Mama, just kill the man, put a gun against his head, pull my trigger, now he's dead. Mama, life had just begun, but now I've gone and thrown it all away. Mama, ooh, didn't mean to make you cry. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on, as if nothing really matters. Too late, my time has come, send shivers down my spine, body's aching all the time. Goodbye, everybody, I've got to go. Gotta leave you all behind and face the truth. Mama, ooh, when the wind blows, I don't wanna die. I sometimes wish I'd never been born at all. See rock shows near Tampa, get tickets as low as 6 to 1. You might also like, so long London, Taylor Swift. Daddy, I love him, Taylor Swift, love up Taylor Swift. Little high, little low, anyway the wind. I feel lost with, I feel the woes. I see a little silhouette of a mask. Scaramouche, will you do the fandango? The lightning, very, very frighteningly. Galileo, Figaro, magnifico. But I'm just a poor boy, nobody loves me. He's just a poor boy from a poor family, sparing his life for this monstrosity. Easy come, easy go, will you let me go? And still I know we will not let you go. Let him go. And still I will not let you go. Let him go. And still I will not let you go. Let me go, let me go, let me go, let me go, let me go. Let you go, let me go. Mamma mia, mamma mia, mamma mia, let me go. Beelzebub has a devil put aside for me, for me, for me. So you think you can stone me and spit in my eye? You think you can laugh me and live in and die? Oh baby, can't do this to me, baby. Just gotta get out, just gotta get right out of here. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah, ooh yeah, ooh yeah, ooh yeah. Nothing really matters, anyone can see. Nothing really matters, nothing really matters, nothing really matters to me. Anywhere the wind goes. Hey, something, sometime, some way, something kicked off a foot from for me. Something inside, I'll never ever fall. So give me something that is for real. I'll never ever fall. Get your boogie on, get your boogie on. Hey, something, some way, each day even ripped off and given away. The shit inside, now everyone will fall. So give me nothing, just feel it, and now the shit will fall. God page me, you'll never see the light. Who wants to see? God told me, I've already got the light. Oh, I see. God page me, you'll never see the light. Who wants to see? God told me, I've already got the light. Oh, I see. Each day I can feel it swallow inside, something took from me. I don't feel your deadly ways. Each day I feel so hollow inside. that was beating me, you will never see. So come dance with me, dance with me. Dance with me, dance with me. Dance with me. Bumpity-boo-bum-bum-dee-dum. Bumpity-boo-bum-bum-dee-bum-dee. Dance with me. Bumpity-boo-bum-bum-doo. God pays me, the more I see the light. Who wants to see? God told me, I've already got the light. Oh, I say God pays me, who never see the light. Who wants to see? God told me, I've already got the light. Got the light, 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 got the light. If you could return, don't let it burn, don't let it fade. I'm sure I'm not being rude, but it's just your attitude. It's tearing me apart, it's ruining everything. And I swore I would be true. And honey, so did you. So why were you holding her hand? Is that the way we stand? Were you lying all the time? Was it just a game to you? But I'm in so deep. You know I'm such a fool for you. You got me wrapped around your finger. Do you have to let it linger? Do you have to? Do you have to? Do you have to let it linger? Oh, I thought the world of you. I thought nothing could go wrong. But I was wrong, I was wrong. If you could get by, trying not to lie, things wouldn't be so confused, and I wouldn't feel so used. But you always really knew I just want to be with you. And I'm in so deep. You know I'm such a fool for you. You got me wrapped around your finger. Do you have to let it linger? Do you have to? Do you have to? Do you have to let it linger? And I'm in so deep. You know I'm such a fool for you. You got me wrapped around your finger. Do you have to let it linger? Do you have to? Do you have to? Do you have to let it linger? You know I'm such a fool for you. You got me wrapped around your finger. Do you have to let it linger? Do you have to? Do you have to? Do you have to let it linger? I feel geweint, 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 geweint. Getrennt, 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 getrennt. Im Herz vereint, 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 vereint. Wir sind schon sehr lang zusammen. Ihr seid, ihr seid, ihr seid, ihr seid. Dein Atem kalt, so kalt, so kalt, so kalt, so kalt, so kalt. Das Herz in Flammen, so heiß, so heiß, so heiß. Du kannst, du kannst, du kannst, du kannst, du kannst, du kannst. Ich weiß, ich weiß, ich weiß. Wir sind, ihr bleibt, ihr bleibt, ihr bleibt, ihr bleibt.
Welcome, my friends, to Xbox Era. If you're new here, let me fill you in. Xbox Era is a platform for the Xbox community with best-in-class forums, a kick-ass Discord server, and of course, XboxEra.com, your destination for the best news, reviews, and features, all focused on your favourite platform, Xbox. It's every Xbox fan's gateway to the best of Xbox Era. Our incredible podcasts listened to in over 50 countries worldwide, our in-depth reviews, our own merch store for the coolest in gaming threads, and of course Day One, where you can track, rate and discuss your favourite games on Xbox Game Pass. We're a small, agile and independent publication, and importantly, we're completely funded by you. If you value having a publication truly focused on your preferred place to play, you can become one of the cool kids by supporting us directly via Patreon. Just head to patreon.com/Xbox Era. You get cool swag and awesome perks, and we get to keep doing what we do. Become a part of the best Xbox community on the internet and help us grow even larger. Thank you for your support. Xbox Era is only made possible by the support of an amazing community, and in particular our legendary and growing army of Patreon supporters. Our executive producers, Top, The Scarecrow 121, Peter B, Not Jack, Mohammed Sherez, Kevin S, Korkenstein, Jordan White, Jordan Andau, Frankie C, Terran H, and Britt. Our amazingly generous grand benefactors who take their support and dedication to Xbox Era to another level. Krat56, an assassin. And then there's our boss, our leader, our shining light in times of darkness, the one and only Xbox Era CEO, Torn Raptor. You guys are all fucking awesome. If you enjoy the content Xbox Era produce and want more of it, and you're not a patron, consider heading over to patreon.com/Xbox Era, pledge your support, and get cool swag in return. Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Xbox Era Headlines. I'm Siki Mechanico. The date is December 17th, 2024. And today, Jesse and I will be talking you through all of the latest in gaming news from across the video game industry. As a bonus for our incredible Patreon community, because Xbox Era is pretty much completely supported by our Patreon community, we make audio versions of these episodes available for them to listen to in the Patreon app. But if they're on Spotify, they can link their accounts and listen to it there instead. Hello, Jesse. You might think the week before Christmas, things would be quiet, things would be chill and calm and pleasant, but it's really, there's a lot of news. So we've started a little early today to just squeeze it all in.
There's 15 topics, and it could have been like 20, 25.
It's kind of bonkers.
And I will say, I think everyone's kind of getting everything out now. Most likely we'll have episodes this week, then probably take next week off, as one would imagine, right around Christmas, from headlines. We'll still have we should have Grubsmas on the 28th, I believe. As far as I know, that's still a go.
That's as far as I know, and Nick hasn't said otherwise, but
and
yes.
Then the 31st is the following Tuesday, and the 2nd after that, everyone's going to be on vacation. I have no idea if there will be news. If there is, we'll do it. If not, maybe we'll try and think of something else, do like a cool Hangouts or something.
Fun streaming stuff for the folks.
Yeah. And working on more and more Patreon exclusive stuff. So last night we did a December Game Pass show with you and myself talking about MechWarrior 5, Death's Door, which, God, I'm tempted to play it again,
I love this.
in Indiana Jones in the Great Circle, spoilerish free. So that is now up for everyone who's in the $6 and what is that, fan and above tier on the Patreon. That's available for you only forever. And on Thursday we are going to record our very first really nicely thumbnailed, thank you Pre-Drag once again for that template, Xbox Era Retro Hangouts, where John and I are going to jump into Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary Edition inside Master Chief Collection. Of course, I'm not going to go buy an Xbox and try and figure out how to stream that. But
Yeah, screw that.
yeah, we'll jump into
You can
that.
play
And
more games.
yeah, but the Retro Hangout show, again, for the $6 and above tier, perma exclusive, myself, John, Nick, Ursel, pretty much anyone who has a streaming setup where they can send the video to me. Just hopping into old games we like, shooting the shit and having fun playing stuff. It'd be fun. It'd be nice.
That does sound fun.
Perma
It's funny.
vaults.
You mentioned how lovely Predrag's thumbnail work is. Before he did that thumbnail for you, like obviously we're putting the final touches and little kisses on the awesomeness that is Console Wars, the card game. Woo! And I gave him this. I gave him this admittedly long list, and he was like, "This is how I imagined he was." I don't know if he actually did this, but I imagine he did this. I'm really tired today. I'll look at it tomorrow. That's what I imagine. And then 5 minutes later, he was like, "Here's an amazing thumbnail for you, Jesse." So I think you're in his good books, and maybe I am not in his good books.
I tried
because I
handing
keep
him more
just
games, but unfortunately, he already owned the
finding
last one.
things.
But if people want to know, this is what the thing he gave me looks like. Oh, God damn it. That's right. I redid my computer and OBS does not remember what monitor is which. I got to fix that. So Retro Hangouts, that's a transparent PNG. So whenever I open it, I can just stick key art behind it and
It's good shit.
put the game logo, which I did right here with the very first episode, as I said. And I'm pretty sure I renamed it, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. Boop, doop. There you go. Then you got Hey Whoa, Combat Evolved. I didn't get the Anniversary logo. I actually couldn't find it anywhere. But yeah, so that'll be recording on Thursday. I'll go through and see if I have to do any editing or anything. I probably shouldn't have to, and then we will get it up. And if I can get enough, my hope with Retro Hangouts is it can be more than like once a month. Like if I can, because it's literally just us hanging out for an hour or 3, depending on how long we want to talk. Just as like a recording that I can then get up, and it's for the patrons. It's just for them.
Yeah, it's worth highlighting this. That little box that says Patreon exclusive 2025, a lot more of that, right? Because I won't go into detail, but I was having some conversations with some other industry folks over the last couple of days.
Everything
about
is going
stuff.
great, right?
Well, I'm more about the approach,
Ah.
and we talk about this regularly. So fans and the community of Xbox Era understands our stance. I want to say in that we specifically do not go after the rage bait, clickbait,
Except for you.
grifty style.
Today.
A lot of people use the word the grift. There is always in any content creation. I've always said it, respect the hustle. But when the hustle is so negative and so depressingly amoral and relentlessly harmful to people,
How much of Black
kind
Myth
of like-
Wukong have you played?
0.
Just like
I
the
kind of
Grifter.
I like to believe, regardless of how regularly humanity proved me wrong, that there is a group of people out there that just like playing video games and having fun and being amongst good other human beings. I maybe I'm crazy, but I believe that is the community that we fostered, in particular around our Patreon forum and Discord communities. Those are the people that we want to engage with us and be a part of the community, right? So when we do stuff, we're like, what do you guys want? And that's what we'll go and do. We're not chasing the ad revenue. I hope that makes sense.
No.
But yeah, having those discussions with like-minded people in the industry this week has been really refreshing. Just know that if you are one of those that really hates being effectively monetized, your anger, your displeasure, your disagreement, your opinions are monetized for other people to cash in on. Be aware that not everybody agrees with that approach, and there are people out there that do want to see this space get better. And to our Patreon members, you guys are making that possible. So yeah, more content for you in 2025.
If we were
without
chasing the
shadow of a
clicks,
doubt.
we wouldn't be doing streams. This like headlines is a
Roblox
moneymaker.
guides, that would be
It
what
would
I'd be doing.
Guide work with the occasional like hot take opinion piece. It's like, oh
Yeah,
there's another shitty thing up on a site like Game Rant or something, and it's like they don't want to do it. It's just the only way you can make money. if you're not monetizing, if you're not crowdfunding. About
As an
it.
example, I'm busy writing an article right now. If I lived in that universe, called "Xbox is over," and then I'd put a real big thumbnail up for my opinion video, and I'd
have Satya Nadella just like bent over pooping on someone.
yeah,
as
angry
Xbox fan.
face.
Yeah.
But yes, obviously, yeah. I said to Jesse, like, hey, we should probably have this as our headline today, and quite rightly, he's like, oh, again, it's just the Xbox ad again. Like, there's been nothing specific again said apart from what they've kind of already said. And I was like, I know, but look how the industry again reacts.
Your article immediate was the first thing to take off in like a week. It would just went pew compared to everything else, because especially when news is slow, and especially when news around this platform has been a little too positive, or it gets positive about PlayStation, that is when it's prime time to go for the engagement that you can farm via PlayStation just won Game of the Year again. Time to be negative about Xbox, and they fight each other, because PlayStation positivity is solid CEO, but Xbox negativity is like the strongest CEO or SEO in the. You can always just go to that well type of stuff.
Yeah. RF in the chat. I love how seriously I take ethics in game journalism.
You never know in text.
I don't even know. I don't take much seriously. It's
also,
just
we're not
games,
journalists.
Man. Correct.
We're not trained journalists, but we are.
Didn't go to journalism school.
Yep. As
confirmed.
You were reminded. Unfortunately, most people who did all have to end up leaving and going to work in the industry, because you can't make any money as a journalist, unfortunately. Like the creme de la creme of a few left. Yeah.
Yeah. There's very few real game journalists left. We're not them.
And then you'll have someone like Tom Warren, who is a good journalist, and people just hate him and call him a fanboy, even though he's kind of hated within the company he is paid to cover.
Yes. True.
They're not hated.
Anyways, yeah, we're talking about
disliked.
Satya Nadella. It kind of snuck under the radar because everyone was like, woo, Astro Bot, Game Awards hype, all of that jazz. But
he was being sarcastic. See? Thank you.
Yeah. That was sarcasm, not ethics in game journalism. Stephen Tortillo, one of the few remaining good video game journalists, was paying attention to the industry around and found a neat little Q&A shareholders discussion where Satya Nadella was, I guess, specifically asked about, Microsoft's new direction. Specifically, the question was from a investor. This was during a Q&A at the end of their annual shareholding meeting. He'd been asked by Microsoft Investor Relations Vice President Brett Iverson to reflect on the company's $69 billion purchase of Activision Blizzard a year after its closing. If you want to check out Stephen Tortillo's original report, please do so. Go give that man a click over at GameFile. I'll put a link in the chat. And this is what Satya Nadella had to say. He said, if you think about it, we chose the secular growth category in entertainment, which we think is gaming, and said, let's double down on it. It's been a passion for Microsoft ever since. In fact, I think Flight Simulator launched before Windows or Office even. Yes, he's referring to the very first Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's like one of the longest franchises in this company. So he said, let's take that joy of gaming everywhere. And that's why even these ads with Xbox now, where we have redefining what it means to be an Xbox fan, it's about being able to enjoy Xbox on all of your devices. So our strategy within Activision content is now in full force. We feel fantastic about the progress we've made, and more importantly, I think long-term as a company, we can bring the best of AI innovation, cloud innovation, console innovation, PC innovation to build the best games that be enjoyed by gamers everywhere. Now, I just want to break this down. Right, I need to kind of lay this out so that folks can just shut up for a second. Everything he just said is everything else that's been said. In other words, case by case basis. We're just doing it, as and when budgets or timelines allow. Depends on the franchise. It's basically all of it can be translated back to case by case basis. Right? There's nothing there. Nothing that specifically says everything's going to PlayStation 5. And that oft repeated phrase of, oh, Microsoft's messaging, man, it's so bad. Oh, it really sucks. Oh, Microsoft, it's really sucks. I don't disagree. A lot of the time they really, really big dum-dums when it comes to just like getting the word out in the right way. But it isn't helped by this is being added to quotes from video game pundits and journalists. It's not your fault, Jez. You're allowed to air your views. But Jez Corden was like, yeah, everything's going exclusive now. Right.
Not
And that's
exclusive.
being added to this. Yeah, everything's not going exclusive. Everything's going to be multi-platform. And it's added to this quote. And that's everyone going, well, there it is. It's confirmed. PlayStation's getting everything. Now, I'm not saying that that's wrong. I think PlayStation are going to get the majority of what Xbox make eventually in 6 months down the line from an original release date or a year. But it's like we already knew everything he just said. We already knew it 6 months ago. Like there's nothing's changed overnight. Nothing's changed, and yet
this
the internet would
topic
have you believe
never
otherwise.
dies. This topic is constant, and it doesn't really change. Like it still has only been 5, and then you can add Outer Worlds in there now that we know about it, and Indiana Jones now that we know about it. But like for things that have actually come out, it really hasn't been a ton. And part of Jez's article today is nothing changed with the games they moved over. They didn't lose a single like they have the data, but he even says in the article, like they have all the data, but I still feel pessimistic. And I think Clobberl had a very similar tweet thread where he's like,
Yeah.
they know a lot more than I do data wise because they have the numbers we'll never have access to, but I don't like it, or it's too early in my opinion. Like for the most part, it is mostly just people who are saying, yeah, it's a complete strategy shift overall for gaming in general, and I like the way it used to be. Not,
Yeah.
this is the way it still is. It's just, no, gaming itself is changing because the console market is getting smaller, which it had been pretty steady for 20, 30 years. But now more and more people are going PC. And PC and cloud are where you can grow. So that is where focus will shift from both. Like, why is Sony getting Spider-Man out already on PC? Because it just starts slowing down heavily on console, and they want more money. That's it. Like none of them are unhealthy. They're looking for growth. So I think a lot of people, oh, they're the next Sega. It's like, no, they're making $15 billion a year. Sega didn't do that in a decade. Like, it's not there's these levels that we simple mortals can't think of in the billions and trillions with these companies. They are ridiculously large, and they make insane amounts of money from ridiculous amounts of players, and they are just looking for more. It's not that they don't have enough now. It's that they they doing this and making 15 billion every time. No, gotta make 15.1 and 15.2 and 15.3, and like they gotta keep going up, and they want to keep more of what they make.
We got Deadly Headley with a super chat here. The death of Xbox is the new ABK. It's just a cheap, easy content machine fueled by speculation. It's incredibly harmful to the fan base. And look, this is where I think a lot of the nuance comes in. Jez's article that he wrote, leans into, as you said, hey, they're telling me, or what I'm hearing is the data has proven that despite these experiments over the last year, every game they've released elsewhere, nothing's changed. The Xbox platform has got more players than ever. It's got more third-party ports and releases than ever. It's fine, right? So they're kind of like, it doesn't matter. Clearly no one cares. And then the pessimists are like, I don't like it, right? Even I've had the thought of, to me, it feels like 2024 and 2025, especially considering the slate for next year, feel like the PS3 late-gen swan songs where suddenly Sony were just on fire, right? And then the PS3 kind of bounced back into being, this is great again, right? Because it had a rough start to that generation, right? And if you want to pretend that isn't the case, that's fine. It's just an opinion. They're like ourselves. We've all got one. And I feel like there are a lot of fans of the platform out there that are like, I wish we could have seen that. I wish we could live in that universe where none of these decisions were made. They had this epic coming together of all the teams now firing on all cylinders. The content is there, and then seeing the results in increases in hardware sales, that kind of switcheroo over. Microsoft are saying, in my opinion, again, this is all opinion, speculation, Microsoft are saying, we've done the math. People are not going to change from their PlayStation 4 established libraries that they bought and invested into in the key generation that we lost. So it doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't matter how many bangers we release. People will just not buy them. That's their opinion. And people are like, oh, I don't know if I fully trust the data. And there is an aspect of that I can understand and empathize with. But at the end of the day, I don't really care. I just buy the video games I want.
Yeah,
It
so
is just video games.
so the
Doesn't
the main concern that most people have that is right is how long do they keep getting? How is their long-term third-party support, and how long do they make the platform that I enjoy playing on their console? Um, they've said it a million times, but it doesn't matter saying it. We've seen the proof. Third-party support is the best it has been in a very long time. They just need to keep that up. I do think their push into cloud will help a ton with that, because companies are going to want to sell their games on the cloud. And if the GDK continues to do what it's supposed to do, and it gives you a PC version and an Xbox version, and it just saves you some development costs in that way, and they already have their programs like ID at Xbox and the one in Southeast Asia, where they'll give you money and support to bring your game to the platform. I don't think third-party support will be a major issue, even if you're only selling 20 to 30 million consoles. Like, if you also then have 40, 50 million Game Pass Ultimate subscribers over time that gives access on the cloud and PC, yes, it's very much worth doing it. Like, people are doing Steam Deck support for a platform
we're
that's
gonna see
got like 5 million, like
the
maybe
first
10 by now.
third-party Steam Deck devices in CES.
Mhm.
I don't know, man. Like I wrote it in my own piece. Like the biggest problem that all of this. I can see people in the chat. Who is it that I just read saying that YouTubers will just use this to to get engagement and fuel this kind of negative discourse. That's the biggest frustration, I think, for the community, at least in the short term. It's kind of exhausting if you're a big fan of Xbox. I think you'd probably be like, oh, I'm so tired of this.
Well, so often you can tell the people that don't actually use it and they just follow what everyone else says. Like, it's just following
Yeah.
a trend. And a lot of time it's like the bad messaging is also pushed hard by the industry. Like, that covers everything. Like, things are quite often shown in a negative light, or there's just tons of leaks. And it's why I keep telling Nick, like, hey, they're probably going to get mad at you just because they never actually get to set their own messaging. For the most part, it's people like you and others who just constantly, like now Jez with his tweets, like, people just assume that is how it's going internally. So when they're not, their messaging is bad quite often because they hardly ever said it. Like, they are constantly fighting against and clawing, like, why do they talk so much? It's because they're trying to actually say the message they want versus what has been leaked.
It's funny. Like, I can see people talking about how, Jez talked about in his article, Microsoft is a data-driven company and they tend to make decisions based on data that are a little bit too soon, right? And I'm just anecdotally, and I'm not going to mention any names, but I was discussing this card, and I don't know if my camera's going to play ball with me and actually
Probably not.
show what it says, but you can make out the image, right? And it says PR blunder. Oh, it nearly worked, right? And this is a card in our game, right? And I shared this with a friend of mine at Microsoft, and the reply was like, oh, still, here we are, like 10, 12 years later, like,
it's about 11.
Yeah. And they argued quite successfully. We were right, though. Like, we were right about that particular data point, that people did end up predominantly going digital and having a speaker in their home and happily talking to a camera all the bloody time. And it's that kind of thing where I'm like,
Don Matrick as your face of it, not good. That's always been one of the problems. Their corpo push on their good products is, it just always feels like Microsoft corporate. I think that was one of the differences once they went with Phil, is they could put someone out there who sounded human.
Spoke gamer.
Yeah, he knew what he was talking about, and he pushed corporate talking points without feeling like, I am corpo man. Like, every time I hear Matt Booty and Sarah Bond speak, I don't know anything about them personally. I just can hear their corporate training coming through. And that is one of the hardest things, to be someone who's a good executive, but also a good natural speaker. It's really hard to find. There's not many of them. Like Jim Ryan might be a really smart, great guy. He did not ever come off that way in press conferences. It's a really weird set of skills to match. Like I am a man who has to be almost sociopathic in how I look at my business. That is what most CEOs have to be, because if you really care about people, like most of us, it will just crush your soul to constantly fire them.
Yeah.
But I'm also very good at coming off like a natural speaker. I'm supposed to be like friggin' Patrick Bateman or something. Like you just put it on, put your skin on of a
Yeah,
nice guy.
honestly, there are times when I do that.
Every
But
time
yeah,
you deal with
like
Nick.
what? But yeah, like look, I wrote it earlier, and I said, despite the great output, and it doesn't matter how people want to frame 2024, Microsoft first party have released Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, Towerborn, Call of
Garbage.
Duty Black Ops
Garbage.
6,
Garbage.
Diablo 4, Vessel of Hatred, Starfield Spat Space, and Indiana Jones: The Great Circle. Right?
Age of
They're
Mythology
all out.
Reforged, Project Ara History Untold. Like
Yeah. Christ, I'm even leaving some out, right?
and
It's a broad spectrum of games. They all released this year, and then we look ahead to 2025. You've got Doom,
too much.
you've got Fable, South of Midnight.
There's too much.
Like I'm not sad that I own an Xbox. I mean, I play across Xbox, PC, and handheld. I have a very good time. The end. I enjoy
It is
video
our
games.
preferred platform. I would not call us fans of the company. We can like people in it. We can prefer some of the games they make, especially as you and I are more, I think, shooter and indie focused. And Microsoft really has taken up that crown with indie stuff a lot.
Indie.
Yeah. And as Dante says in chat, like Reggie Fils-Aimé, he is that mix. He was great on stage and talking to people at a
wrong with you?
ridiculously high corporate level. Like that is not the norm, and that's why people end up missing him. He might be a terrible person. I don't freaking know. I have no idea. He might be a
Don't
great
get me
guy.
wrong. I would love completely off the record, Scouts on Art. It would never get repeated anyway. I'd love to be able to have the kind of frank, real human conversation with like Phil or Sarah or Matt and be like, dudes, just, we run a website called Xbox Era, right? You ain't making our lives easy here. We're having to bat this shit off every, just to have a decent conversation about gaming, about the platform. Every month is like, and people, the jokes, people, stepping on a rake again. Hell, we've made them, right? But it's like, I want to be able to go like, come on, just cut the vagary, cut the, just give it to me straight. But we don't live in that world. So we just have to make do with the limited information we have as we get it.
And the focus should always be on what actually happens, because so much of the industry is pushed by vague potential ideas. Like it's just, is this going to happen? Oh, I've heard this is happening. Like now the Sneakers SGO guy on NeoGAF, everyone's taking his word as gospel again about what their plans are. And it's like, more bad messaging I see in the replies, and I'm like, they're not saying or doing anything. All they've ever said is, yep, we're making more consoles and it should be really good. And you take that with a grain of salt and say, well, I hope it's really good. We'll see. As a consumer, you don't like hype it up and get on, but people do. People like being a part of a group. And so they want their group who do this to win. And for that, it becomes this thing to feed into feeling better about yourself half the time. Like it's not good faith.
CEO Torn Raptor in the chat says, I love the platform, the controller, and the games they make. I'll be with them next gen also. Yeah, like there's like even Nick had a pretty reasonable opinion on this. Is like, he was like, there are reasons, I pick their ecosystem, I pick their controller, I pick their feature set, cloud saves built in, cloud play anywhere, all of this sort of stuff. These are reasons I carry on picking an Xbox. People don't like to hear that kind of common sense from Nick. That's unusual, and I agree. It's worth saying, like Deadly Headley put a super chat in earlier. He released an opinion piece on this kind of stuff. It's worth a watch. Go check out Deadly Headley's channel. And I would also say that we've written about this. I've written about this. I've done videos about this ad nauseum. Right? I even made that the tagline of my article today. Is like, and do you know what ad nauseum means? Do you want a little bit of an education? It's Latin for basically is being sickeningly repeated over and over and over to the point I am sick of hearing it. Shut up, everyone.
Like, it's been an amazing year for games, with a next
loved
year
it.
looking even better. Like, it's crazy how many things are coming out and people don't care. They want to argue about the potential of other stuff instead of, like, it's really hard to get attention and have people focus on positive things. It just, and actually playing games. People want to talk about everything around it. They want to talk about the business and the ads and sales
Yep.
numbers. And like, I put up a single tweet yesterday. I was like, on the Xbox Era account. I was like, I see the negative clickbait is, or negative engagement farming is all the rage after what's been an amazing few months. So tell me something you have played that's like a hidden gem that you've really loved. And it was this really nice long thread of people just pointing out games they've been playing that they
Yeah.
really enjoyed. and stuff.
I love that positive engagement farming. Who would have thunk it?
Mhm.
I did see one comment in the chat from James Thomas. If GTA 6 gets delayed, it'll be Xbox's year. I have to say, like, publicly 2K be very, very like, yes, it is definitely coming out. I always get it. Is it Take Two or 2K? It's Take Two, both? Are they the
Both.
same? Okay.
So it's,
yeah,
it's
they've been
Take Two, but then
Okay.
2K is under them, and 2K does a lot of the other stuff.
good. I
So
always get the two
Take Two is the
conflated.
parent. Take Two is the evil
Yes.
parent company that sues everyone.
Ye-
Then 2K is a publishing arm. Rockstar is a publishing arm.
Good. Yeah. So
Gearbox
Take
has
Two have
stuff
been
with
very
them,
like
with 2K.
GTA 6 is releasing in 2025. It's just a window. Jason Schreier, I think, was on Kind of Funny the other week, and he's like, "Yeah, it's definitely going to slip." But if it does,
Yeah. And also,
I
like, he
don't
could talk to,
disagree.
knowing him, he's probably talked to multiple people who work there that all think that. But Take Two and Rockstar,
I-
they did completely change their corporate culture after Red Dead 2 almost destroyed them. That
Yeah.
is one thing that Jason has talked about in particular. So I do think they might not crack the whip. Like, a sprint at the end is normal. You're never going to avoid a sprint at the end of something. We will have it with console wars. Like, it's really hard to not want to be like, okay, I got to make this perfect. And so you work a little
Yeah,
extra,
it's your baby.
and then you get to
It's
take
your
time
baby.
off. The difference was it was years of it on like Red Dead. Like, it was just, that was the culture for many years, which is the really bad version, not for a month or two. So
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
like, even if they don't, Take Two's got a ton of huge shit hitting this year. So I
Well,
don't think
that's
they
what I
have
did
to
find
push it as
funny.
hard.
They've got Borderlands 4 hitting this year. That was announced at the Game
Yep.
Awards, coming out 2025. I'm like, they're going to do GTA 6 and Borderlands 4 in the
Borderlands
same
4,
year?
Mafia, The Old Country, and Civ 7, all, and NBA again. Like, they've got a lot of stuff this year, unlike they have recently. So they might not feel compelled to push it as hard.
Yeah, you might be right. But yes, I think regardless, 2025. 2024. I've had a great year playing on my Xbox. I've played a lot.
We went
of
over
great
our
games.
list of stuff to cover. There's already 50 games in it. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, there's so much that I'm like, yeah, I'll do that one, and like that's, you can tell it's a banner year when we're actually having arguments about what to cover.
And then,
like,
and
I
I know
want to do
you're
this.
gonna get screwed over because you're gonna have to do a bunch of console wars and business stuff, and you're gonna be
I'm
like,
gonna
God
have to do a
damn
bunch
it.
of business stuff.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, there's one that February March period is like, it's bonkers.
And it's
Like,
the end of January through the middle of March already has like 20 or 30 things in it. It is ridiculous. We will cover what we can and what we want. I also don't want to cover everything because like then it just eats itself. So we will get
Yeah.
everything we can, especially as long as things are spread out, because for some goddamn reason, companies have these times in these dates of the week that they like to get embargoes in, and then you'll have like fucking 5 in a day, and you only get 3 YouTube notifications roughly every 24 hours. So if
It's
it doesn't get a
insane.
notification, not gonna get any views most of the time.
Yeah, but look, at the end of the day, all of that coverage, as we said at the beginning of this headline show, it's all powered by you guys. And I know, if you're sitting here watching us, if you tune into this every week and you're not a Patreon subscriber, you might get bored of us saying, "Hey, why don't you consider it?" And I get it, right? Times are hard. I'm poor, right? But the more Patreon subscribers we have, the more wiggle room we have to cover more stuff. It is that simple. It's the more people we can bring on to help and assist and work towards a kind of like the right kind of platform, the right kind of outlet that we want to be. And you guys make that possible. So
if you're not a subscriber, consider it. Just have a little poke around on patreon.com/Xbox Series. See if there's a tier that you like the look of, because we do more. And I'm not trying to toot our own horn here, but I am. We provide more merch and we provide more content than I think any other gaming outlet publication Patreon out there. Put simply, we're fucking great. So there you go. Xbox is dead. Long live Xbox. Next up in the news,
The one that was
the Game
going to
Awards.
be, the one that was going to be at most of this show originally, which is why we started early.
You know,
there's a
but
lot. There's so much shit that got announced there that we have not talked about.
it's a Tuesday. You know,
Yeah.
we were a long way away from the Game Awards and what it was. But the Game Awards was a thing. I think it's widely been regarded. And you know
Far
what?
and away
I
the best
didn't
one.
watch
Far and away.
1 second of it.
No. It had actually like good pacing. It had ridiculously good reveals because it is now the only thing a lot of these companies can go to. There's nothing that's ever had this many eyes on it. I don't know if they've given a viewership number, so maybe it wasn't that impressive if he hasn't said. But in general, it had been going up every time. I just haven't seen like 110 million people watch the Game Awards. Also, every time I show the Witcher thing, I forget it's just a nude lady at the beginning. But you know, it was a really well done show that it only had one cringe moment, which is when Ken Kutaragi thought he was being called up on the stage at the very beginning.
Oh, it was very awkward.
That was,
I did see a clip of that.
Yeah,
Oh,
and he's like, he's just giving a shout out, and Ken's
awkward.
like, "Oh, I'm coming up." And he's like, "No," and they thankfully they didn't cut away quick enough.
Go sit down.
Damn it! I
old
misspelled Patreon. No, I didn't.
man.
Oh, I did. I misspelled Xbox era. Let me remove that. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here, and one of the shows that Jesse and I were talking about over that kind of Christmassy, New Year's, everybody's not working kind of period is we might get on and sit down. We'll try and bring a few folks on with us, and we'll try and rate everything. Maybe everything coming to Game Pass in 2025, as an example.
There's so many. There's so
and just
freaking
try and
many.
go through them and be like, where would we put this in a like kind of S tier?
Yeah, I was trying to think around. It's always
D
tough around
tier?
the holidays, especially with So we'll have Grubsmas, and Grubsmas is fun. I'll make Nick and Jeff really big, and you and I can be little tiny squares in the corner.
I'm told I'm not wanted during Grubsmas. I'm told I'm physically not wanted there.
Wow.
Like there is not enough room for Nick and Grub's egos. Like they both center stage, and I can just fuck off. Is what.
But
Nick
I was
kind of
thinking the
intimated.
following one, which will be in the new year, could be our prediction episode. I think that would be a nice thing to keep going because it has been. It definitely was last year. I think the year before it was, but like 2025 predictions on games and what's coming and how things are going to go. That type of just yoink the people in with some fun debate that we don't normally get into because Nick just wants to stroke his ego with intimating at knowing everything. And I'm annoyed because he was right. Friggin' Superman trailer's coming Thursday, like he said.
Yeah, but he also got a lot wrong.
Yeah, but he ignores that. It doesn't matter. It's like, hey, friggin', you got all this shit wrong. It's like, but all the stuff will go right.
Yeah. But yes, the Game Awards, lots of good announcements. I'm going to go over a few. Feel free to interrupt me, Jesse, with any that you think of particularly noteworthy. But some of the ones that caught my eye, I thought Rematch from the developers of Sifu looked surprisingly cool. I know I'm not into football in any way, shape, or form. I am
but
not a
arcade
sports fellow.
football can
But
be very fun.
it looks like it could be a really good laugh. And Rocket League is enormously successful because at its core, it's a replayable for infinity type game.
And Rocket League wasn't super. Rocket League was a unique take on something that had already existed before. Like even FIFA's had Volta mode and stuff where it's like it's super arcadey soccer and Mario Strikers and all these things. And having the Sifu guys with their really interesting animation and like feeling going after something like this is super cool.
It looks lovely.
I wish Jeff had actually timestamped all this. It would be easier to find, but I can't. So now I have no idea.
If it helps, I've got all the trailers in and everything at
No.
everything at the Game Awards. You could use that article on XboxZero.com
Is that the one I? Yeah, hold on. Boop, boop, boop.
instead.
Get out of here.
So, yeah.
Okay, and I was playing The Witcher 4. Witcher 4 looks amazing. If you're into it, I know like series probably way older and beat it to shit. He's not a
I
20.
saw some conversation around this, like, oh, Siri's been recast and it's DEI, and I'm like,
Well, Siri's been recast because if I had to guess,
she's older.
yeah, it's also the voice actress is younger because the person who voiced Siri's in her mid-50s now, and if this is the beginning of a new trilogy, you need someone who's going to be there and doing mocap and all this stuff for a while. Like, yeah, Rematch looks quite good. It's I think it's a lot faster and more fluid, obviously because it's going for that arcade nature compared to something like what was it, Absolver and
Yeah.
Sifu, where they were more defined, strict, fighting, beating the shit out of people. I also forgot that secret level episode, which I guess the rest is coming out today. I don't know. The that was the first boss fight of Sifu, and it took him his entire life to get through here. It was just like a really bad game of Sifu, if you know what it is.
Yeah, if you've actually played it, you're like, you suck at this. You're old
Mhm.
now.
But yeah, this one looked really good. Excited for Slay the Spire 2, but it's early access, so I'll play it when it's 1.0 for review.
Fair.
The one that I know you thought of, Nick, but I thought of myself was Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, Metroidvania, pixel arty from the guys who made Blasphemous. I actually did play quite a bit of Blasphemous 2, but I ran out of time to try and do a review. It's really good, extremely punishing Souls-like mechanics though, so you got to really commit to it. But this is a super nice animation style to start with, but then it jumps to the game and it is pixel art, and it's very Blasphemous team just does gorgeous pixel art, super nice animations.
Oh my goodness! I've just realised something.
Mm.
I haven't awkwardly interrupted our flow and the show itself to ask the 150 plus people right now to hit that like button
what the fuck?
because
Yeah, we haven't got
it
any.
really helps us out. Sorry, you can continue now, but please do hit the like button.
But the trailer just finished. It looks real good. We should be on the list. I already asked, and there you go. But yeah, there was God, there was
One
so
move
much.
away. I liked the look of
Hey, there it is.
unpacking in 3D or car Tetris, as I'm.
You
gonna
see the
call it.
unpacking thing? I think you put it in there on the Switch.
I did.
We'll
We'll talk about that.
Yeah,
We'll talk
it's
about
the very
that.
last one. It looked nice. Did it have an? Yeah, it's on ID at Xbox. I don't think it had any. There weren't really a bunch of Game Pass things announced. But
I have a feeling that one probably might be, but
yeah, you never know. But it looked good. It looked
Yep.
good. Shadow Labyrinth. If you have seen Secret Level, you now understand why they had that version of Pac-Man. So try not to spoil too
Surprise.
much, but it is essentially it's the guy from the friggin' thing and then the Pac-Man from the thing, and it's the thought essentially for the Secret Level episode was what would this thing that eats everything and is stuck in a labyrinth, why is it stuck there? Why does it eat? It's because it's evil. It's evil as shit. So, and then this game just feels exactly like that episode of Secret Level. So it now makes sense why they went that truly weird and terrifying way. This game looks very nice.
Yeah, in some ways, though, it doesn't help that it makes Secret Level feel even more like just a marketing exercise for games that you've
1000%
never
was.
even played yet.
Yeah.
You know, but hey, what do I know?
And
else
that's
have we
again
got?
why the best episodes were the ones that weren't that. It was New World and Space Marine and some of the other ones where it was like, we have a cool story. Warframe's
so I
always
liked the
teasing.
Space Marine.
Like I like Warframe, but you have to commit to it. They work very hard to make it easier to jump back into, but it's still not easy. It's easier, if that makes sense. Witcher 4 we talked about looks great. Splitgate 2 you have played, and it got its own little gameplay trailer again.
Yep, I think it looks solid. There's a really lengthy interview. You know, if like me, you're like, where is Splitgate 2's place in the world of all these live service, free to play behemoths? Like, how are you going to plan your way through that? I chatted with the CEO of the Splitgate team, 1047 Games, I want to say from memory, at length. So I'm talking like half hour, 45 minutes worth of conversation, which I painstakingly transcribed. So, you know, I don't think many people actually read that
There's
interview,
a
but there's
couple
a lot
hundred
of
now.
detail in there about what their approach is to live service for Splitgate 2. So check it out. As a game,
Let's see. How many do you think it
it's
has?
pretty cool.
I'm looking
I
at
think
it
it
right now.
has 169 views.
268 with my click.
Wow, I was 101 off. Look
Mhm.
at that. That's nice. But yeah, I like Splitgate 2 a lot. I'm looking forward to playing more.
You should be on the list. But the one I definitely want to be on the list for, but I will need 2 other people to join me. Will be Elden Ring, Night Rain, which at first I
And
was yelling, "Is
those
this a battle royale? What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Um,
What?
and it essentially it's a it's a PvE battle royale. So you've got 3 nights. It's a alternate reality Limgrave, so randomly like procedurally generated maps and monster choices at the you're spending all day trying to find upgrades for your gear and leveling up your character by getting monster kills and runes, and then at each night you fight a mini boss, and then on the 3rd night you fight a major boss. And so it's one of them. It's almost like a no loot extraction game, but but it's way over the top
3-day
Elden Ring.
the 3-day night cycle reminds me of Raven's Watch, which I'm hoping to get at least an impressions piece out, because I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to sit down and actually complete it. Which I've been playing because the developers sent a code and I was like, I'll try. And I've been playing it with multiplayer friends. It's a 3-day night cycle where you have to survive and get as much kind of power in this roguelike progression type way. And then at the end, you fight a big boss. And when I heard the whole 3-day night thing for Night Rain, I was like, interesting. Is that an indie game influencing a big game? Is it just 2 developers having a cool idea? I don't know. Has it been done before? The whole day night cycle, fight a big boss at the end? Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's definitely been
feels
done
video
in
gamey.
various ways. Being 3 is funny, but this is also this is way over the top and actually co-op focused, which they have not done with one of their Souls-likes before. They always have co-op, but it's that stilted, annoying, invite-only, you're gone when you die co-op. And this is just straight up co-op. Also, I would say if you, me, and Soul ever all had owned all of Elden Ring and did seamless co-op, that would be the time you loved Elden Ring. Because playing that game in co-op makes it a lot easier and just a lot, like, it's the same thing. Co-op makes everything better, and it's a great game. And then you just add in constantly playing with 2 friends, and you can have the mod make it so you can tune pretty much everything in the game. So if there's a way the game works you don't like, if there's gear you want but you can't find, because you can make it completely randomized bosses, completely randomized loot, like all this weird, crazy, fun shit. And seeing them at least embrace co-op like this, it makes me very happy. And this
Hopeful for the future.
Yeah. And then of course the next one in
Outer
your
Worlds
list.
2. Oh no, it's coming to PS5. I mean, this was a nice surprise. I don't think anyone had The Outer Worlds 2 in 2025 on their bingo card.
There's been a lot of during Giant Bomb's talkover, Grubb said that he had heard that this was moved to 2025 because something else had been delayed out of 2025. But he didn't intimate if it was something we knew, something not. Then Nate Drake on Resetera came out and said nothing that's been announced for 2025 has been delayed, and that Outer Worlds 2 is always 2025 as a target. And then Jez today also said, as far as he knows, nothing's been delayed, and 2025 is always a target.
I saw a lot of people taking Grubb's comments as Perfect Dark's now been delayed out of 2025, and I'm like, when was it announced for 2025?
Yeah, like
it was never given a date.
Yeah, Outer Worlds 2, Clockwork Revolution, Perfect Dark, and Everwild, a few other ones that we know of, that have no date.
Yeah.
So, but now, that yet another game hitting 2025 on the platform. I wouldn't be shocked if this and Fable were the later ones, and Avowed, we know, South of Midnight, and Doom were the early to mid.
I mean, that's already a great year. What if they
And
do
Call of
their
Duty.
usual surprise? It's June. Here's a showcase for Horizon 6 this year, 2025.
Yep.
I mean,
that was the thing Nick couldn't help himself but intimate on Twitter, is that they have more.
I feel like they do.
Yeah.
I feel like if I think about the studios,
they've got 50 friggin' teams, like
it's crazy.
over 50. They're like over 60 teams. So a lot of them might be working on the same thing, but they just have a lot of teams that are doing stuff.
It is mad.
Yeah, State of Decay 3 doesn't have a date, but yeah.
The next one is definitely high up on my I will play and review this for the community list. Split Fiction from Hazelight, in the vein of It Takes Two from those same developers.
All their games,
another
essentially,
split
really.
screen co-op extravaganza.
With 2 girl bosses. I see people getting mad
Oh my
about
god,
that.
it's so woke. Don't care. It looks awesome. Looks amazing. Can't wait to play it.
Yeah, so there are 2 authors who there's this reality creation tech that makes their writing, and then you're jumping between their versions of realities based on their writing after they get stuck in it. And
It's so balmy.
It looks crazy. I would say some of the character design's a little boring, but then the worlds are just crazy. And then, of course, it's got like 900 games built into it, like always, because Hazelight's very good at what they do.
Shout out to KP, who just messaged me in real life to say he smashed that like button.
Ooh.
Appreciate you, brother. Everyone else do it quick. But yes, like it looks fantastic.
And then we can say Borderlands 4 exists and go on to Onimusha. Borderlands 4 looks fine, but
Yeah.
my surprise of the show, for a show that had so many of them, my biggest one was Onimusha. It was a game I remember renting and playing and really enjoying the first one, and then I don't think I ever touched any of the other ones. But I remember loving that first one, which was essentially Resident Evil controls and looks and camera angles, but in like samurai fighting. And it was really goddamn cool. And it's been gone for 20 plus years. And now it's coming back and looks freaking amazing. Really curious how it's going to play. Obviously, it's on the RE engine, so it's really pretty. And it's got a year of 2026 because Capcom is in there reinvesting into dormant IP phase that people always hope for. And I'm really hoping it is successful because, god damn, does this look good.
Yeah. It's just lovely to have video games in it. There's other stuff in there. I mean, we could go through every single one. There's definitely stuff on this list that isn't like
Stage Fright looks
isn't on
neat
this list,
from
I should
them. Double Dragon looks super generic, but I'm sure Nick will like it. Screamer is reviving that old racing game. Untitled Project from Gen Design looked fucking cool as hell. No idea what it's going to be as a game.
It's coming to Xbox.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. So there was the Shadow of the Colossus and Eco and Last Guardian lead coming in with this tone piece of climbing up this gigantic mech only to try and escape on its head from this world-destroying wave of energy and matter. And then really cool music, just a really cool vibe to it. No date, nothing, no name. Just it is coming to everything. PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and who knows, maybe the next Switch. We'll see.
Yeah.
But look,
there's other stuff
Felt
like
real
I'm
good.
going to briefly list it
Turok,
off. Turok Origins got a trailer, a co-op Turok game.
third person.
Yeah, not sure how I feel about that. The Long Dark 2 got a trailer. Tekken 8 got a Final Fantasy crossover. Like a Dragon, Yakuza developers RGG announced Project Century.
Mm-hmm. That looked really good.
Pal World got a new update. The first Berserker, Kazan, is coming out in March. Techland shared Dying Light the Beast.
In the summer.
We had Sonic Racing Cross Worlds.
Yeah.
Will come in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Mafia the Old Country got a new trailer and a summer 2025 release window. And Crimson Desert now has a release window for late 2025. That's like everything, I think.
And there was more stuff in the pre-show. Like it was a good show overall, solid pacing. It obviously, and they don't do ad breaks, and so it feels different when it's just now ads are playing and it's not a very obvious, hey, we're talking about tampons or toothpaste or something. It's still video game related. So it's a very different feeling than the Oscars, but I think overall, for a money-making venture, it was well done, and at least people got to talk. Half the awards didn't get to talk, but when people did get to talk, they got minutes instead of seconds.
That's good. It's an improvement, at least. I can see Xbox Series CEO when talking about the conjecture of other things that Microsoft could surprise announce for 2025. Because you've got to remember, January is round the corner. And what did Microsoft now do in January for the last 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
Developer Direct, baby. Starts the year off with a bang. And Tom Raptor says, Everwild? Could be.
If it was coming out. And we talked about
Be very
this
cool.
one, so I'll chop out the next story because we already talked about it.
What else have we got? It's interesting, this one. I want to say a lot more, but I can't. Lego Horizon Adventure, rumored for Xbox in early 2025. This came via media outlet Just Play It, who claim that their sources have said Lego Horizon Adventures will be coming to Xbox in the coming months.
Wow, this
A lot of people are going,
full
oh, I
playthrough
don't
is
believe it.
4.5 hours.
I am going to say to you, I believe it.
I also
I'm
did,
not going
like,
to tell you. I'm not going to tell you why I believe it, but just like I think it's completely accurate.
no, he's saying
That's all I can
Everwild
say.
was the delay. But I'm also Lego Horizon definitely seemed like it flopped pretty hard. It hit 400 concurrence on Steam and mostly has like 40 people playing it at a time. I don't know. It was a weird one. It wasn't made by Traveler's Tales. It was
No.
also very short. It wasn't about collecting a bunch of characters and going through and replaying stuff. It was essentially retelling you the story of Horizon Zero Dawn. And it came out 2 weeks after the Horizon Zero Dawn remake. So I don't know. It's one of those things where I think if it had been an Xbox game that came out and just was so weird that people would have, I think, dinged it harder. It reviewed pretty poorly, which Lego games don't tend to do, or especially anything Horizon doesn't tend to do. Like it's super pretty, but it's weird. And it definitely
Yeah.
feels like a game that was made because Lego saw how well the tall neck sold. And we're like, hey, why don't you make a game out of this? And then other corporate suits were like, yes, we should do that.
I would laugh my head off if it sold more on Xbox than it does on PlayStation. I would really.
I'm
crack
guessing
up
its
and have a
major
good-
platform is probably the Switch.
I don't think it's got it. I don't think it's home IP to PlayStation. If it's not going to sell there, I don't think it's going to sell anywhere.
CEO Torn Raptor, when will the Horizon Lego game get a remake? Well,
2028.
it still kills me. I forgot. So when we were co-streaming the Game Awards, I completely forgot they had already remade The Last of Us Part 2. And then when I saw that pop up for the name of it hitting PC, I was like, oh yeah, Jesus Christ, they've already remade this 3.5-year-old at the time they put it out game. It was like maybe 4.
What are we? We're just along for the ride, people. But yes, I believe that Lego Horizon Adventures is going to come to Xbox. And that's all I'll say on the matter. Thank you very much. Do not quiz me further. This is a hilarious one. DBrand, that irreverent, like, oh, look how edgy we are brand, has
They're
leaked the
legitimately pretty
Switch
edgy.
2. They are very edgy. So this is from Jay Peters and Sean Hollister over at The Verge. The Nintendo Switch 2, as described by DBrand. They revealed their Kill Switch 2 case, which has a mock-up and an in-motion render of the case, and inside a mock-up of hardware that has some key differences from the Switch and the Switch OLED. The new console appears to be larger. It has a mysterious new second button on the right
I hit my
Joy-Con
thing.
under the
It's
home button.
Not mysterious anymore. People have looked
No.
at it. It is a big C, which would be like that, I guess, on screen.
Capture.
C. Yeah, for like community.
Makes sense.
Because their big thing is supposed to be VidMeo, which is going to be their short form gameplay sharing social media hub thing, like TikTok.
How does Vimeo feel about Vimeo?
They look at Nintendo's legislative history and just stay quiet.
Fair enough. But yes, oops, DBrand are reasonably confident in this case, but The Verge asked CEO Adam Ijaz to be sure, and he said DBrand has actual dimensions, not an educated guess, based on a 3D scan of the real hardware.
Yeah.
When we asked how he knows that, Ijaz only said, "Nice try, Nintendo."
DBrand quite often seems to have ins with people who like manufacture stuff and other companies that might sign NDAs and have all these deals and they don't sign them, and that's why they then just talk about them.
Do you know what though? When I see this, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I think it looks too similar to the Switch that it will immediately confuse people
They're gonna need
and make people
I
go.
think literally just they can't call it the Super Nintendo Switch as much as Nick wants that.
It
I
has
do
to be
think
the Switch 2.
it has to have a number on it that makes it clearly delineated in a next thing instead of so like people like the cutesy names, but like the Wii U, people thought it was just another Wii. They didn't think it was the next generation of Nintendo, and that killed it.
Yeah.
You have
Like
to
a lot of people
understand
would be
the
like, "Oh, it's
basic
going to be."
ignorance of the casual.
Yeah, because a lot of people have been like, "Oh, it's going to be insanely successful," and I've no doubt that it probably will be successful.
Mhm.
But there is a part of me that's like, Nintendo, from my perspective, have always excelled when they've dared to be different. They have pushed the boat out. They've tried something new. They don't always work, but when it did, it was like, wow. You know, I think of the 3DS. the 2DS as well. Like the GameCube, like even if they weren't like massively multi-selling, the Wii was, but every time they try and do something different, and this just feels so iterative that it's a
Mhm.
little bit like
I think the industry is iterative
kind of
now.
boring.
It's just iterative.
But hey, what do I know? What do I know? I'm not an
You
Nintendo
know what I
fan.
know?
Ask Nick.
I'm very happy that I pushed Cengiz to put this article out because it got 7,500 views in the last, especially after
Which
I did a
article?
tweet. EA, the next story.
Oh, okay. You lead us in then.
EA
darling.
is giving away a buttload of stuff, 10 things over the next 10 days. You must get them every day. Right now, you can go to Battlefield 1 Revolution and redeem it for free if you have Game Pass Ultimate or PC Game Pass, I believe. No, probably just Game Pass Ultimate because they're only giving away console stuff. So on your Xbox console, you can go to Battlefield 1 on the store page, and it's just there for free today. Every Game Pass Ultimate member who has EA Play can just redeem that game. You're also going to get to redeem Titanfall 2 Ultimate Edition, Battlefront 2, Skate 3. They've got upgrade for Need for Speed Unbound, a bunch of shit for PGA Tour, Fight Night,
See, look,
DLC.
I'm literally trying to do this right now, and it does come up as $0 plus applicable taxes, which means that the website for some reason is in the United States. So let me just change that
Mhm.
because you shouldn't be asking
So
for my
yeah, and
address.
it's not like a Games with Gold redemption. It is a straight up redemption. You own it. So even if you've gotten these things in the past via Games with Gold, like I do believe Battlefield 1 was a part of Games with Gold, you will now just actually own it, which is super neat. So there's the games, I believe, are Battlefield 1, Skate 3, Titanfall 2, Ultimate Edition. It looks like Battlefront 2 has an upgrade. I'm trying to remember. Did you link the thing in here? Here's the blog post. I just want to see if they actually linked everything. I don't think they did.
Yeah, if I
they
click
did.
buy to own,
Mhm.
it says, "Do you want to pay with your credit card?" But it's zero, including VAT. So yep, done. I now own Battlefield 1.
Yep.
Um,
So from what
yeah.
it looks like on here, so there's a Need for Speed Unbound Palace upgrade. God, I cannot tell what the fuck this Battlefront 2 thing is. Is it a game? Yeah, no, Battlefront 2 Celebration Edition, which is the full DLC one. Titanfall 2 Ultimate Edition. You get the Elite upgrade for Battlefield 2042. You get Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2, which is everyone's favorite. Deluxe Edition. You get the Home Chef Hustle Stuff Pack for Sims 4. And Skate 3, Battlefield 1, and 500 PGA Tour points. And that is every day.
Well,
So these would be in the vault, Torn Raptor. It's just now you own the ones that give you the DLC. So, like, you will own the game outright forever with this DLC version of them all, which is super neat.
good times.
Yeah.
Good times, says I. Thanks, EA. How unusually
guy,
generous
EA.
of you. The next one is amusing and frustrating, and I don't know how angry he is about it because he
Very.
sold 3.5 million copies. So
I'm happy of this. My headline here, though.
Yeah. Local Thunk, incredible game Balatro is unfortunately now a mature rated 18 plus only title because PEGI, the ratings agency, have awarded Balatro an 18 plus rating for having playing cards and poker. This is a strange one, and I can't help that PEGI have got. I can't help but feel PEGI have got this wrong. They have associated the fact that there are poker hands in Balatro, and they've equated it to chips and gambling, and it's going to teach kids how to gamble. And I can assure you that if I played a banana at the poker table in a casino,
try and do a
I would
flush
probably
five.
be kicked out. Yeah. Where did you get that extra ace from?
Where do you get those 5 aces of spades? But yeah, so it essentially, what I have to imagine, it's a game that is all gambling iconography. It's not a gambling mode in a game. This is just a gambling thing. This is just teaching you poker. This is going to teach kids poker. We can't let kids play this. And it's like, there's no like there is no actual gambling in this at all. Like the game got delisted by them over this. They had to accept a gambling tag, even though there is no gambling in the game. You can't pay money. It's just a one-time
Yeah.
purchase, no microtransactions, no DLC. Like it's just buy the game and you got it. So, yeah, you like my headline?
Uh,
I think it's pretty good.
I do, yeah. Balatro
Thank you.
gets PEGI'd. But you know, Local Funk has kind of grumbled about this, and I get it, right? He's put
Mhm.
since PEGI gave us an 18 plus rating for having evil playing cards, maybe I should add microtransactions, loot boxes, and real gambling to lower that rating to 3 plus, like EA Sports FC.
Mhm.
Because yeah, this is where it gets weird. There is a game here, Balatro, that yes, it does feature playing cards and poker hands and chips. But it's a one-time purchase. It has no microtransactions, and there is no loot boxes or any kind of actual gambling mechanics in the game. Meanwhile, a football game that rakes it in using very, very low chance gambling type mechanics for loot boxes, FIFA Ultimate Team, all of that crap, is just allowed to do it.
Mhm.
This is where it's kind of like, PEGI, you need to look beyond just the iconography of these things. You know, I
It's-
understand both
yeah.
points of view, but I think PEGI have got this wrong. Because you can take a pack of cards home and you can play, and it doesn't mean it doesn't have anything to do with gambling if I did that,
Mhm.
right? Even if I get chips and play for chips, there doesn't have to be money involved. But yet a game that actually is involving money and purchases and gambling your money to win possibly some stuff is literal gambling, and it gets a 3. It
Mhm.
makes no sense.
Yep.
It's kind of dumb. But yeah. And it's worth saying, I don't think PEGI is UK based, Torn Raptor. Not that I want to correct the
But
CEO.
the UK uses them, so they can go to hell.
The UK
Go to hell, UK.
it does use PEGI. But why are we blaming the UK
I
here?
don't like Starmer.
Okay. I don't think many people do.
Yeah, I know. I'm in the majority, so I don't feel bad saying that.
Yeah. But still better than Tories.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's better than having a pile of shit thrown at your face every few weeks.
Yes. In other good news, employees unionize at Zenimax online studios. This is via ourselves, the lovely Chengus writing. Basically, the Communication Workers of America, or CWA, advised yesterday that 460 employees at Zenimax online studios have unionized under the ZOS United CWA banner. This comes in the wake of unionization efforts across the Zenimax group, Activision Blizzard, and their subsidiaries as layoffs continue to impact thousands upon thousands of game developers and creators across the gaming industry. Cool shit. Like seeing more unions.
It's funny.
Power
I
to
was
the people.
showing Elder Scrolls Online gameplay from Mr. Fordoomer. If you want to go give him a click, they just fast traveled like 7 times, and I had to keep clicking through it. And it's like, why don't people complain about this like they do with Starfield? It's like most RPGs. Once you go to a place, you just want to freaking fast travel to it and not run for 45 minutes. But
No,
I digress.
right? Yeah, it's okay. Deep breaths. In the bad news camp, though, Warner Brothers Games Montreal lays off 99 developers. God. GameDeveloper.com. Your site.
I know it's. And I didn't even realize they had a piece in July about how Call of Duty Black Ops was going to kill the platform.
Yeah, I
that
think it was one of their top 50 articles.
It
of the
was
year.
one of their top articles of the year, and I was like, oh my god! And there was like multiple people that were like, man, the tone of this article is so mad and angry. I couldn't get through it. I was like, yeah, I know.
Like a bitter X.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops.
Justin Carter writes, most of the impacted developers let go from Warner Brothers Montreal were subcontractors through esteemed developer Keywords. There's that lurking behemoth behind the video
And
game
also, there's a
industry.
very specific reason why it was 99, because I think if it's over 100, things have to be
You have
different.
to give
Yeah.
legal differences. This obviously comes hot on the heels of Rocksteady's announcement that it's going to stop supporting Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League as of January 14th next year.
And that wasn't their game, but I think both them and Rocksteady, like they work with each other. And essentially, either Rocksteady picked up what WB was making at Montreal, or Montreal picked up what Rocksteady was working on, because executives always get in the middle of everything and mess it all up.
It's very true. Next up, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and 3 and more have
There's
now
like
hit
7 or 8 or something.
the
of them.
Xbox PC store. We've now got Call of Duty Ghosts, Advanced Warfare, World War 2, and Black Ops 3 Zombie Chronicles Edition. They're all $60 PC versions.
Hmm. The older
they're out
ones are 20 to 40. It's like Modern Warfare 2 and 3. And then there's the very first game with its expansion. Like there's most of Call of Duty. I think all of Call of Duty now is on the Xbox PC store because most of it was there before. The newer stuff. And now they've kind of caught up with all the old stuff. What?
Breaking news completely unrelated to gaming.
Mm,
They're making an official Bluey the movie. What the fuck?
I don't care.
This is legitimately big news. Stop the show.
Make me mute you and just start the next news story.
Okay, I will be
Oh.
freaking out about this now for the rest
You've
of the
only
day.
got
but
about
I'm very
20 minutes
excited for
left.
that Bluey the movie. Woo!
Oh
Yeah, Call of Duty.
Yeah,
You
it's
can,
all there on the PC store. I know Ecstasis, who was also quite wrong. Like everyone's like, "Wow, he got so many right." I was like, "Yeah, but he was like 30% right for what he said about the Game Awards." But he has stated that the plan is to trickle it out over slower periods next year. And I do think, I know people want the big Bethesda drop, but the reality is they could do that because, as great as those games are, they don't get that many people that play them, and it sucks. I hate it. I hate that that's the truth. But a lot of the reason Bethesda got bought is because people weren't playing their really good video games.
Yep.
And so you could drop 20 things and it didn't completely overshadow everything for a while. As where if you drop Call of Duty titles, they will soak up all the playtime, which is the main metric they care about. Like they want people playing these things that they pay money to put them in. If you just put Call of Duty in there constantly, it will kill engagement on other stuff.
Can't disagree. I'm not spending $60 on PC versions of Call of Duty anyway, so they would need to come to Game Pass to have me even vaguely interested. Although I really do want to play the space one that I missed.
Oh yeah,
Infinite
Infinite Warfare.
Warfare?
I remember that being pretty fun.
Yeah, I've heard it's good.
It was a solid. I remember it being a solid campaign.
Anyways, next up in news, Alan Wake 2 is the latest in PlayStation 5 Pro enhanced games to let you turn off Pisser, which is obviously PlayStation's bespoke AI frame improvement.
I think this guy
Rendering
capturing this
tech.
Alan Wake 2 footage I'm showing had it set to HDR and didn't realize. Very
Oh,
washed
dear.
out. But yeah, so once again,
yeah.
the game just,
You can turn it off.
it's still the same I think it was 867p native resolution, upscaled to 4K, and their tech makes that look a lot worse than the other ones that were already there. It is really weird how many third-party games have had to drop support, like let you toggle off the spectral super resolution. Because it was like the main selling point was, well, you just have a graphics mode, like it just gives you everything, especially thanks to our new hardware. And then it turns out, no, all these games still have a bunch of graphics modes, and multiple third-party ones are now letting you turn off the super resolution because it just doesn't look good. Like DLSS 1 and FSR 1 both looked really bad. So it was always going to be really weird if PSSR somehow just looked very good right at the start. Because that's just not how any of these have worked. They get good at version 2 and then great with version 3. Like that's how it's been. So
Yeah.
even the next version isn't probably going to be great. Hopefully it's just good. It's kind of like Tempest Audio. It's okay. It uses too much CPU. It doesn't sound any better. But they were able to sell the shit out of it, and people really thought it was something new they were making. It's like, no, they just don't want to pay Dolby licensing fees. So, but that's that. That's a Avatar and another game I can't remember. All letting you. Oh, Star Wars Outlaws. All letting you drop Pisser.
Yeah, funny that.
Hmm.
In other news, speaking of Game of the Year and stuff, Astro Bot got a short-lived player engagement bump, but it faded by the next day. This is via Matt Piscatella over on Blue Sky.
I honestly thought this was sad news. I was sad when I heard this.
Yeah, on December 13th, for every one US-based Astro Bot player on PlayStation 5, more than 20 were in Call of Duty HQ. So yeah, I know a lot of people were hoping for a big bump because it won Game of the Year.
And that happened. That generally happens with them. Like especially Baldur's Gate 3. I do think it is really hurt by not being on PC.
Yeah, maybe it will do at some point.
I mean,
It will come to PC.
I mean, it has to. It would be really weird if it didn't. There's no point not to. I can't imagine it's an expensive port, and I don't think it's. I think PlayStation is realizing more and more that like their own stuff isn't what's going to keep pulling people in the way it used to. It is more the friggin'. Well, I didn't put it in there, but Marvel Rivals is enormous. It was number 3 on PlayStation, number 4 on Xbox, and number 1 on PC at launch, like for player engagement. It's just boom, it jumped right through that ceiling that nobody else can get through. So I am very hopeful with this different and good-looking game, like Astro Bot. No matter, like, I know people get all angry and stuff. Yes, it's not super popular. So what? We know the people who vote, they're really into platformers. That's why it's won, because it's a great platformer. I'm hoping they do more like that and less third-person action with RPG mechanics.
We'll have to fight and see. But speaking of PlayStation,
I just thought this one
obviously
was funny. I don't want it to be
it is
console
funny.
worry. It was just kind of funny. Because normally
PlayStation's
their stuff's pretty
30th
good.
anniversary was celebrated recently, and they were offering folks the chance to purchase a special ornament for your Christmas tree. Parisi over on Resetera.com ordered aforementioned 30th anniversary DualSense Christmas ornament from the PlayStation Gear shop, and I don't think it was quite what he expected.
No, I think if I go down, there's shots of what it should look like, and like you look at what it's supposed to look like, it looks nice. It's like this just little plastic ornament that looks like a DualSense, but then the one he got was very clearly awful in quality, like a bad molding. It's not clean at all. Like, and I just have to say,
Scroll down and have a look at the Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings Collector's Edition shop. Post number 33. Oh man, if I got that through in the post, I'd be flipping out. I'd be like, what is this?
There was one post in here. Or is it? Fisty. I mean, it's not for playing games, so it doesn't really need to be perfect, and it couldn't have been that expensive. Otherwise, why wouldn't you just hang a real DualSense from your tree? I'm like, are you that far up a corporation's ass? My God.
Everything out there. Absolutely.
But like normally, a lot of these things are Hallmark, so I don't know who made this. It definitely doesn't look like Hallmark, but it's an officially licensed PlayStation product. I'm really curious who made it, because like most of the times you get something, especially if it's Hallmark, like they're nice. Like this is the little Xbox you can get, and it's
I really wanted that for my Christmas tree.
And it's
sad face. Cool.
And then it goes
very nerdy. Okay, that's pretty cool.
And it lights up.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was like $20, and it's just nice. It's just like a nice little molded piece of plastic. I don't know what happened with this controller. Also, I can't stop it, so it's just going to keep going. Behind me right there,
dear.
with my head blocking it.
That's funny.
Damn it, I knocked out my cool keycap. Okay. I found it. This is my Extra Life keyboard keycap that they sent me.
That's very cool. Nifty. Last two stories before we wrap things up, because it's been a slightly longer show today.
My chair just completely dropped. Hold on.
It's okay. Report. An unannounced Tiny Tina's Wonderland sequel was reportedly, allegedly, supposedly cancelled. This comes via mpfirst.com from Ephraim. Sources indicate that Tiny Tina's Wonderland 2 was cancelled amid layoffs at Lost Boys Interactive, the studio involved in its development. The sequel underwent a soft reboot earlier in the year, coinciding with Gearbox's sale to Take-Two by Embracer Group. There you go. Apparently, that's not happening anymore, even though it's never been revealed.
I'm looking up
It
the
was
chat.
apparently mentioned in the profile of a former Gearbox
How it tends
employee.
to go.
Yeah.
Oh, its store page is gone, so probably not. It was called the Hallmark Keepsake Ornament 2024 Original Xbox Console with Light and Sound. Gift for gamers. That was from that Hallmark store on Amazon, but that's not popping up anymore. Seems gone. It was limited edition when I bought it, so
Yeah. There you
40
go.
bucks on eBay. Sorry.
There you go. No more Tiny Tina's
Yeah, I
Wonderland
like
sequel.
Tiny Tina. I also called it Tiny Tijna on the screen. I liked Tiny Tina's more than Borderlands 3, so now I'm really hoping that Borderlands 4 is good.
Yeah. I look forward to playing Borderlands 4. I skipped 3. I think the last one I played was 2. So
Yeah, no, 3 plays way better, but has terrible writing. And thankfully, they've been showing all the writers. People can talk about writing on it now, and they're all very good writers. And they also said less toilet humor, which is good because it just was
okay.
it was painful toilet humor in 3 and not actually funny.
No worries. That's all good. Yeah, and then the last story for today, and this one, it kind of makes me mad.
Mhm.
Unpacking, which was a pretty big indie hit where you were packing stuff away. It was published by, I think, Humble Games. I think it came to Game Pass, if memory serves. And yeah, it was a neat little game. You put stuff away over the course of someone's life, and everything was very clever and cool and wonderful and great. Nintendo have got, and it took the developer of Twitter to make this turn into an actual story that Eurogamer and others reported
It is
on.
still on Game Pass.
Good, because it's a great game. Nintendo's eShop has 5 fake unpacking editions of DLC packs or deluxe edition or chill music pack to monetize themselves based off of how good unpacking was for like a $5 per pack. And none of them are actual real things. They're all just aping the original Unpacking's name. They've reported it 2+ weeks ago, and Nintendo haven't done a damn thing. I think he should upload a lot of Super Wario World games and give them slightly different names and see how quickly Nintendo will act then.
They will sue him into oblivion.
Right? Like, Nintendo, you are such dicks. You are such massive dicks.
It's very obviously the
about
same
this
person
stuff.
on all of this too. Unpacking Universe Dreams, Unpacking Deluxe Edition, Unpacking Chill Music. It's all the exact same look and same probably AI generated nonsense background. Like, oh god, that is the problem with Nintendo and especially Steam. They're not big companies that actually check everything.
Yeah.
Especially Steam.
bad.
Like Steam, the Steam store is a problem, and the Steam community is horrifying. Like, I know Steam has won the PC war for everyone's heart and soul, but it is a horrible platform as far as the way the community is run, the lack of moderation, and the lack of quality control on the store itself. Like, people get mad when we can't review something on Xbox, but the reason that happens is because they actually go through and look at everything. Like, I know there's there's one thing Wayfinder is like, yeah, sorry, we can't get our Xbox version out because the holidays are hitting and they're going to be on vacation. And people are mad. And it's like, well, no, it is good because it keeps all this absolute garbage from just infesting the store. It's already bad. Like, it's not perfect on there.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, I've seen plenty of awful, like, cheap achievement crap.
And they actually fought back against that finally.
Yeah.
But it took a while.
But all the stores have had these problems.
Mhm.
It's bad for people. Like, this is someone profiting off someone else's idea. And, Nintendo seem to be really against it when it happens to them. So you would hope for the same sort of scrutiny and quick thinking that they are so well known for in the industry, but probably not, I guess. But best of luck to the devs at Unpacking. I hope that Nintendo take action.
If we want a classic example of this, let me just play this this little trailer that was featured on the PlayStation blog. It's a little game was a work in progress. It does not represent the final quality, but all images were captured on a PS5 at an early development stage for, of course, everyone's favorite PlayStation 5 exclusive, Abandoned. 3 years ago, 2 million views shown on their store. Definitely a real product that exists. Definitely didn't get pushed onto the PlayStation YouTube channel and their blog and have all this stuff. It was a real thing that will come someday. I believe it. What about you?
Yeah, it's Kojima's next project. He's just
Yeah,
not,
that was a secret. This is actually the follow up to PT that people were always dying for. It says "kill trespasser" on that wall. Kojima's known for writing like that. God's Town in a really shitty font on a piece of wood. Like, this is very obviously a real thing. I still cannot believe this got on both their YouTube channel and their blog. It's almost as bad as that Catley game at the Game Awards, which we didn't talk about. It was like the second thing shown is a really obviously fake AI generated nothing. It's not actually anything.
Okay. We're going to have to cut a very swift end to the show because my kids have just arrived.
Monsters.
So we're going to wrap it up there because that's the news. As always, if you enjoy the content that Xbox Era produces, be sure to check us out at xboxera.com or head to patreon.com/Xbox Era. You can support us directly. Hello, son. I'm live. Stop being a
No one can hear him.
naughty kid. And look at him. He's sitting there like at the window. We'll be back on Thursday with more news and some live streams and stuff.
It's Boots.
That's one of my kids out there. Look. Until then, friends, ciao for now.
Goodbye. In a bit, maybe I'll just keep it going. I won't. Or will I?
Bye.
Walk along those city streets you used to walk along with me. And every step. Some say I never kill myself to save my soul. Mommy don't know Jenny's getting hot at the body shop. They doing something unholy. He like it, yeah. He like it, yeah. He like it, yeah. He like it, yeah. Something takes. On a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair, warm smell of colitas rising up through the air. Up ahead in the distance, I saw a shimmering light. My head grew heavy and my sight grew dim. I had to stop for the night. There she stood in the doorway. I heard the mission bell, and I was thinking to myself, this could be heaven or this could be hell. Then she lit up a candle and she showed me the way. There were voices down the corridor. I thought I heard them say, welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely